In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a young girl named Abike. Abike's life had always been intertwined with her mother's, Abeni. Abike's father had left when she was barely old enough to walk, leaving only vague memories of his voice and a heartbroken mother. It had always been just Abike and her mother against the world. Abeni was Abike's everything. They walked with the sun, heading to the family farm together. Every morning, Abeni would sing as they walked, and Abike would hum along, her heart filled with warmth and security. From the way they tilled the land to how they prepared meals, everything they did together. The bond between them was unshakable. Abike was dependent on her mother for everything, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. She could not imagine life without Abeni. But one day, Abeni fell gravely ill. At first, Abike tried to remain hopeful, but as days passed, her mother's strength waned. The village healer came and left with a grave expression, saying there was nothing more he could do. Abeni grew weaker by the day, and Abike's heart was consumed with fear. The thought of losing her mother was unbearable. Abike's desperation led her to seek out an infamous native doctor who lived on the outskirts of the village. The villagers whispered about him, telling tales of his mysterious power and the heavy price he demanded for his help. But Abike didn't care about the rumor. If there was even the slightest chance that he could save her mother, she would take it. One evening, with trembling hands and a heart full of hope, Abike ventured into the dense forest where the native doctor resided. His small dimly lit hut smelled of herbs and smoke. As she entered, she was greeted by an old man with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor. "You seek to save your mother's life," he said before Abike could even speak. His voice was deep and knowing, as if he had already seen into her soul. "Yes," Abike whispered, her voice breaking. "Please, can you help her?" The native doctor nodded slowly. "I can heal your mother, but everything comes with a price. Are you willing to pay?" Abike did not hesitate. "Anything I would give, anything to save her life." The native doctor stared into her eyes for a long time, as if searching her heart for the truth. Finally, he spoke his word like a chilling wind. "The price for your mother's life is your ability to bear children. You will never be able to give birth. Even if you marry and find love, your womb would remain barren." Abike's breath caught in her throat. She had always dreamed of having a family and raising children just as her mother has raised her. But now, standing before the native doctor, none of that seemed to matter. All that mattered was her mother. "I will pay the price," Abike said. With a slow nod, the native doctor performed the ritual. It was strange and otherworldly, but by the end, Abike could feel something shift within her, a change she could not fully explain. He handed her a small vial of medicine. "Give this to your mother before dawn," he instructed. Abike returned home that night and gave the medicine to her mother. By morning, Abike had begun to recover. Within days, her strength returned, and soon she was back to her old self. Abike's heart soared with joy, and life returned to normal. The sacrifice she had made seemed distant and almost unreal, a forgotten shadow. Years passed, and Abike grew into a beautiful young woman. She met Ayola, a kind-hearted man who adored her, and they fell deeply in love. Their marriage was a celebration of joy and hope, and for a time, Abike's life seemed perfect. But as the months turned into years, something became painfully clear. Abike could not conceive a child. At first, Ayola was patient, but as the years passed, his patience began to wane. The villagers began to whisper, and Ayola's family grew increasingly concerned. Abike felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. She knew why she couldn't have children, but she had never told Ayola about the sacrifice she had made. The burden of the secret became too much to bear. One evening, after another painful conversation about seeking help from a healer, Abike could no longer keep the truth hidden. She sat beside Ayola, her hands trembling, "There is something I need to tell you," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. Ayola looked at her, confused but attentive. "When my mother was sick, when I thought I was going to lose her, I went to a native doctor for help. He told me he could save her, but in exchange, I would never be able to bear children. I made the choice to save my mother's life." Ayola's face darkened, his silence heavier than Abike could bear. She could see the hurt and anger building in his eyes. After what felt like an eternity, Ayola stood up, his voice cold and sharp. "If you could sacrifice your womb for your mother, then go and live with her. You have made your choice." Abike's heart shattered as the weight of his words sank in. She knew then that their marriage was over. Without any word, Ayola left her alone, cutting all ties between them. Devastated, Abike returned to her mother's home. Tears streamed down her face as she collapsed in Abeni's front, pouring out the entire truth. "I sacrificed my womb for you, Mama. I couldn't bear to lose you." Abeni froze, her eyes wide with shock. She had never known the price her daughter has paid. "Oh, Abike, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have done this for me," she whispered, her voice thick with sorrow. She pulled Abike into her arms, and together they wept bitterly. "But I don't blame you, my child. You did it out of love," Abeni said, holding Abike close, her tears mingling with her daughter's. They cried until they had no tears left, their hearts heavy but bound by the strength of their love for one another. In the days that followed, Abike and Abeni continued to live together, finding solace in each other's presence. Though Abike's heart still ached for the family she would never have and for the love she had lost, she found comfort in the knowledge that her mother was alive. They carried on. The bond between them remained unbroken, even in the face of sacrifice.